Hey guys, here I am for my first update for the new reading week, and I have two books that I have one book that I finished and another book that I started. I may have started a book that's on my May TBR. Whoops. But the book I finished is The Kiss of Deception by Mary Pearson. This book was very, very intriguing. So this is about a girl named Leah who runs away on her wedding day. She is being forced to marry a prince that she does not want to, and when she escapes, said prince goes looking for her, as does an assassin. The reason that this is so different and so intriguing is because you don't know which one is the prince and which one is the assassin. By the way that it's written, it just says the prince and the assassin for their POVs, which is really cool. And I really liked this one. I ended up buying the box set of the original trilogy. So I'm very excited to continue with these. I did listen to this via Libby, but then I bought them, so figured I'd show you. Now, the book that I started that I wasn't supposed to start yet, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So I needed to finish the Remnant Chronicles, the one I just showed you, because the way it ended, I was like, wait, why we can't stop here? And then I realized there were two other series that I did the exact same thing with, and this is one of them. And then, of course, you know, Red Rising is the other. So I went ahead and started this one since a lot of the girls on the Shelf Space Discord are reading the third book right now. I was like, oh, might as well catch up. But I'm 60% into this, and I really like it. This has a much heavier focus on the romance than the first book did. This one is a lot steamier than the first book, and I'm hearing very negative things about the third book, so I really hope that I love this one and that I'll love the next one. But 60% into this, and I'm really enjoying it. But I am missing some of the fantasy elements that were in the first book. Now the second thing to do would be Owlcrate. I got my Owlcrate box today, and I figured I'd go ahead and share it with you guys. You guys have said that you wanted me to unbox it during my vlogs, so that's what I'm gonna do. Ruthless Rivals is the box name. I have a feeling I know what the book is, and I will tell you, I went to the bookstore today. I'm not going to show you what I got because I'm going to go do a haul because I have bought too many books recently. So you guys will see that. Okay, I have this little box here. Gonna open it and find out what it is. It says 2 to 4 players, so I think it's a game. I'm having a heck of a time trying to get this thing open. Okay, so the game says, the setup: grab bookish friends, 2 to 4 players, snag a pen and paper to track points, have a timer handy and set it for 30 seconds. Place the cards face down between the players. Player must give 5 answers to the card's category before the 30 seconds is up. First player to earn 10 points is the winner. So you have to give 5 answers to earn a point. Let's see. Characters who wield swords. Books that have made you cry. Fictional parents. Books that you have read this year. Authors whose books you have never read before. Sounds like it's got some pretty interesting categories. Now, with the social distancing and everything, it's probably not a game that I'm going to get a chance to play for a while. And also, all of my bookish friends are online. But that does give me some ideas for some future videos. So that's pretty interesting. Now this I got spoiled for, and I'm very excited about. But we have Spectacular Cinnamon Owlcrate Hazelnut Coffee. And this is by Fable Grounds. Cinnamon Hazelnut Coffee. Owlcrate exclusive. The way it's written, I read it totally wrong. But can't smell it, but it sounds like it'll be really good. Maybe I will, in my next update, have me a cup of cinnamon hazelnut coffee, and you guys can see that. The stars incline us, but do not bind us. There's that. I need to find my spoiler card so I can see what these things are supposed to be. I got a peek at the book. It's exactly the book that I thought it was. Okay, Paperback Bones did the etc. card game. The coffee. Oh! So this is from These Violent Delights. I knew I recognized the quote, but it's chopsticks. The Scarlet Gang. And the White Flowers. I don't know if you guys can see that it says it there. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool to get a chopstick set. I will actually use these because I dig eating with some chopsticks. But yeah, the stars incline but do not bind us. What is this? Conquer your fear and you can conquer the world, Mia. This is Nevernight. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. If you guys don't know, Mia is one of my favorite characters of all time. Absolutely adore her. And this little thing right here is a phone wallet. You attach it to your phone and you can put things in it. And it says, history has its eyes on you. That would be inspired by Hamilton. There's a car alarm going off. I don't know if I will use this. I have a pop socket on my phone, but this seems like something that I would lose or would break off. But it does have like 3M tack on it, so you probably wouldn't lose it. I just know me. And here is the pen, which it's a book about witchcraft, so it seems like it's very fitting. Now the book. Like I said, I spoiled myself for the book because I got a peek at it. I knew this was the book that was going to be in here, and I almost purchased it today, and then I was like, wait, you know it's coming, you know it's coming. It is a book that I have been dying to get my hands on for some time because it got pushed back in its publication date. And that is Witches Steeped in Gold. I'm thrilled to get to this book. So thrilled. And then, let's see. Are you ready for this? Look at that. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. And it's embossed. There you go. And then also autographed. But if you guys don't know what Witches Steeped in Gold is about, it is about two rival witches who have to come together to take down a common enemy. It's Jamaican inspired, and I'm very, very excited to get to it. But that is all of the updates I have right now. As soon as I finish A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, I do plan to start Ruin. So that is if the Remnant Chronicles don't just call my name. I know I need to get to Ruin, and I know Ruin is a lot of people's favorite of the Faithful and the Fallen series, so I am very excited to get there as well. But I'll see you guys in my next update. Bye. All right, guys, so small update here. I finished A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, and there was no way I could not go on to the next book. And my husband's opening the garage door apparently, but I had to keep going, guys. The ending of the second book is on a total and complete cliffhanger. So I have moved on to the third book, and I will keep you guys updated. Bye. Hey guys, here we are for my week wrap up and final thoughts. And I am sorry that the vlogs were short this week. I got one track minded, focused on one particular series, and I did finish 2 books, but I'm only about halfway through another one. So let's go ahead and talk about the first book that I finished, and that would be The Kiss of Deception. This is the first book of the Remnant Chronicles, and if you guys have heard people talk about this, you have probably heard about the enemies to lovers trope. Well, I do think that this sort of fits the bill. Leah, our main character, she is set to wed a prince from another country to solidify an alliance with this country. And the day of the wedding, she runs away. She doesn't want to do this, and part of her reasoning for this is that she doesn't want to marry a stuffy, ugly, grumpy prince. And that's what she thinks she's in for, because she sends a letter to said prince asking him to present himself before the wedding so she can inspect him. And he might not have taken that well. So she escapes on the day of her wedding and disappears. When she does this, the prince goes looking for her to discover why it was she ran away from him. But not only does the prince run after her, so does an assassin. Now, this book is written in a way where you don't know who is who. You don't know which one is the prince, and you don't know which one is the assassin. And so you get to know these 2 men, and one's name is Caden and one's name is Rafe. And as the story progresses, you try to figure out who you think is Caden, or who is the assassin, who is the prince, which one Caden is, which one Rafe is. And I have to tell you, I was wrong. I was wrong on who I thought was who. But the story plays out in such a way that is so entertaining, and I highly recommend this. I'm going to go ahead and add the next book of this one to my TBR, because the way this one ends, it's just, well, why did we stop there? And the reveals do occur in this first book, so you won't have to be left guessing through the rest of the series. But I really, really enjoyed the way that this was written. Now for the second book that I read this week, A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Yes, I put this on my May TBR. Yes, I started it early because when I finished From Blood and Ash, I needed to know what was going to happen next. Jennifer L. Armentrout. Man, did she leave me on another cliffhanger with this book. But this is delving more in depth into who Poppy is and who Hawk is. And we get a lot of the background of this kingdom coming to the forefront of this book. And I really, really enjoyed the second installment of this series. So much so that I am currently reading the third book. Now, if you don't know what From Blood and Ash is, it's about Poppy and Hawk. Poppy is the maiden who is set to be this like sacrificial lamb for her country. And Hawk is her guard. And the maiden has to be protected at all costs. She cannot talk to people. She cannot look at people. People cannot look at her. She's constantly veiled in public. Very, very innocent of the world around her. And when she meets Hawk, that changes. And I really, really enjoyed the fantasy elements that came to the forefront in the first book. However, in reading the second and currently reading the third, I will tell you that the romance does end up taking over the story. And while I enjoyed that the first book was very, very well done and 50-50 on romance versus fantasy, the second two are not. However, Poppy's backstory does lead more into the fantasy elements of the first book in the third book. But one thing I want to say about the third book in this series, and I'm only about halfway through, is we are getting a relationship that is no longer interesting. And I say that because a lot of Poppy and Hawk's relationship is based in the fact that they are two different people. Very, very different people. And now it's a lot of appeasing each other, and it kind of falls flat for me a little bit. Now, let's talk about the one thing that everyone was excited for in the third book. I have not got to the point where I know if this is a thing or not, but the joining. The joining has not yet happened, and a lot of people are talking about a poly relationship, if we are going to see a poly relationship. And I'm kind of rooting for it because of the other character that we are introduced to and how much I enjoy the banter between Poppy and said character. And I don't want to say who it is in case some of you guys haven't read the first book, but I am very pumped to be finishing this series. Now that is the 3 books that I have tackled this week. I did have the library release Cersei to me, but I got so distracted by From Blood and Ash and that series that I actually forgot to listen to it. So I did put another hold on it, and this time I'm only 3rd in line for it, so it shouldn't take nearly as long as it did before. It's still on my May TBR, so not too worried about that. And I am going to try and pick up Ruin next. This will finish out the series that is written for From Blood and Ash. And so hopefully Ruin will make its way into my reading abilities. It's the only way I know how to say that. If you guys don't know, I have been having issues with character-driven novels, so I am very blatantly avoiding them. like very, very much so. And I am so excited to read Ruin that I do not want my experience of Ruin tainted by the fact that I'm not enjoying character-driven novels right now. And I know a lot of big things happen in Ruin. So I do want to read it at a time that I'm ready for it. And having read From Blood and Ash, The Remnant Chronicles, you guys saw my last TBR wrap-up video, and you know that I have focused on some very plot-driven novels. So yeah, that is it for me today. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!